Lori, did something happen between you and Joy again? Could you please just leave her alone already? I'm getting really tired of the both of you always getting into your cat fights all the time. I honestly don't get why you're always trying to pick fights with the poor woman. It's like you're being way too overprotective of me or something, right?
Philip, you have it all backwards there. All I'm trying to do is keep you happy.
Then leave my girl alone and let her be happy too. She's already told me once before not to talk to you anymore about all of this. But I can't just start ignoring you now. I would like for all three of us to get together as a family, which means you have to start being nice to her so that she doesn't say that to me.
What? Joyce said that to you?
Yes, she did. She would like to get a little bit of distance from you, so she told me to stop talking to you for a while. She doesn't even want me texting with you anymore. If she were to even know about me texting you now, she would be pissed.
She's saying stuff like that now? That girl. She must think that she can get away with anything. Philip, I really don't think that a person like her is good for you to be with all your life. I get that you guys are both married now, so this might be hard to listen to. But I would really like for you to think things through a little bit more about your future with her.
Oh, come on now. You're going to start talking to me about that? Honestly, I'm getting really tired of how overprotective you are of me.
I'm not trying to protect you as your older sister. I know that she is bad news, and I don't want you to give up your entire future for her when she's going to tear it all down at some point. That's the kind of problem you're dealing with right now. She is the kind of girl that thinks she can hide anything from anyone and do whatever she wants without any punishment. So I think you should do something about her now, before it's too late.
Oh, come on already. I'm tired of you always telling me what you think about my relationship with Joy. Just let the two of us be happy with the way things are and go away.
I think it is a very good thing of you to be protective of your wife, Philip. I really do. That is seriously one of the best things anyone can ask for from a husband. But I think you put too much faith into that girl, and that faith is going to stab you in the back someday.
What the hell are you talking about? What are you trying to say about Joy right now? I've already decided that for the rest of my life, I will be with Joy and will never leave her. So you can just shut up and let me love my wife the way I want to. I'm sure it sucks having your sister-in-law hate on you all the time, but I would like for you to stop bugging her and to stop talking to me about how to handle my marriage.
This isn't about that. You have no idea what the problem here is yet because you keep trying to avoid the truth. And the truth revolves around the kind of person that girl of yours really is.
I know who she is, and I know what you're trying to get at here. You probably think that she's nothing but rotten because of that debt she got myself and I into without ever telling me anything before, right? Well, all of that has been taken care of between her and me.
That is not what I'm on about. I mean, I guess that does have something to do with the greater picture in many ways. And when it came to that debt, the only reason it's no longer a problem for you and her is because you went and paid it all off with your own savings, right? I don't like anything about that either.
That's what I'm saying. I knew that's what this was all about. Just leave it be. None of my relationships or my marriage to her has anything to do with you. That was all money I had made myself, and I was 100% okay with giving it up for her to get out of that debt. That wasn't your money I gave to her, so quit your complaining and let us be.
I never said I was complaining about that anymore, though. That is just a piece of the bigger picture that I'm trying to show you right now. There are plenty of other issues about that girl that you need to understand, so the same things don't happen again.
What are you talking about? Are you really that upset about the happiness she and I share? I thought that this marriage to Joy would have brought you the most joy. But just because there was this tiny issue between her and me, you had to come in and blow it all out of proportion. No wonder she can't become close with you now and hates you. I feel so bad for the poor woman.
You're not listening to me, Philip. Come on. If I could have it my way, I would love to grow closer to your wife and become a really good sister-in-law for her. But it's her that chose to start hating me first, and also...
And Joy was trying to become close with you, Lori, but you weren't playing nice with her at all. And every night she stayed up crying, thinking that there would never come a day where you'd accept her as my wife. Joy is a very soft and kind woman, and you came in and destroyed her heart.
I did not. I accept her as your wife, and that's why I never complained about you guys getting married. But I've started to see that you are only seeing the surface of her. She is tricking you right now, okay? I want to tell you the hard truth right now, so would you please just listen to me? I'd like to do it in person, actually, so could you please make time to come and see me?
I'm tired of playing your terrible games, Lori. All you're gonna try to do is make me believe in your lies. I don't want to hear you anymore. I want to do what I want with my wife without some witch trying to ruin everything for us. I was a real idiot for thinking that you would accept the love Joy and I have with one another.
Stop that, Philip. You keep mistaking what I'm saying. I really want for you to be happy, and that requires you to just listen to me. If you just give me a little bit of your time to talk in person, you will begin to see the entire picture.
Do you really think, as Joy's husband, I would want to sit here and listen to you talk crap about her? I already know that you're gonna lie to me. Joy would never do the kinds of things you're gonna tell me.
Just listen to me, Philip. I need to talk to you in person because it's all going to be a very hard pill for you to swallow. So please, give me an hour and I will explain everything to you about her.
Look, I already know that you just want to complain to me some more about my wife and make her look like the bad guy in all of this. You really think I want to see you right now? You're just going to make things worse for everyone here, and I don't want that. Do you really want her and I to break up that badly?
Philip, that is not at all what I want for you to do. Listen and trust what I'm saying as your older sister.
I am never going to leave that woman because she is the only woman I will ever love. So just shut the hell up and go.
Fine, I'll do that then. I'll shut up and stop trying to tell you the truth about her. But just remember that I warned you.
I don't need to hear your baseless warnings anymore, even if you are my older sister. Just stop it with your yapping. Leave Joy and me alone.
I will. Excuse me, Lori. Would you please stop saying the most ridiculous things to my husband for me? Philip is my husband after all, so you should know better than to mess with our marriage. And could you please stop it with your over-attachment to your little brother? I've already told you once to stop talking to him, and I've said the same thing to him as well. I understand that, but that last conversation he and I had, he was the one who messaged me first. That is not what I'm worried about right now. I told you not to talk with him. So even though he may have been the one to message you first, you went and responded to him, which is a big no-no. You're blaming me then? I do happen to be his sister, you know. I would rather you stop telling me what to do when it comes to the relationship he and I have. I know. And I know that you don't accept our marriage to one another. You would love it if he and I got a divorce, right? Listen, Joy, I never said anything about wanting you both to get a divorce. But if I were to want something like that for you both, then that means I have very good reasoning for that. And that is why you're being so cautious around me, right? You want to make sure I don't say anything out of line to Philip about you, right? Huh? There's no way I'm worried about you in that regard. It's not like you have anything to say to him about me, right? Because if you did have something to say to him, which you might have, then you would end everyone's happiness, including your own. And then you'd be ruining any sense of joy your little brother has ever had, right? Hey, you listen here. The only one who's done anything that can rip the joy away from my brother is you. So what do you think you're doing, making it seem as though everything would become my fault? I'm not an idiot, Lori. I'm doing everything I can to make sure these secrets of mine never have to come to light in front of him. So I promise to never hurt him and take away his happiness. If he were to find out, of course his life would be ruined, but that's why I'm not saying anything. Are you kidding me? Why were you even able to stab my brother in the back like that? What you've been doing is worse than anything I have ever seen in my life. And you know that, don't you? Yet you continue to hang on to my brother for some reason, and I have a few guesses as to what those reasons are. If you're going to say that about me, then you're in the same boat, right? You saw what was going on then when we ran into one another. And yet all you did was smile and walk away from me like nothing had ever happened. I know that I didn't say or do anything at the time, but I was in shock at the time and am still very much aware of what was going on there. And as long as I know what you're doing behind his back, I cannot support you being his wife. And that's why I made it pretty clear as to what I want. If you and I put some distance between one another, you'll begin to forget about what happened and everything will be just fine. You'll be able to get back to enjoying your life instead of complaining about someone else's, and Philip and I can get back to being husband and wife. Why would you ask for something like that? Well, so far you haven't spilled the truth to him, right? And the reason for that is because you don't want to hurt him, just like I don't want to hurt him. Honestly, if you say anything to him about what you know, you'll be making yourself look like the villain. Well, whatever your reason is for remaining silent, I am genuinely thankful for it. Joy, you've just made it crystal clear to me that I don't want you guys to remain married. You are not good enough for a man like my brother. Allow me to give it to you straight. Please divorce my brother and get away from our family. Huh? And you just thought that I'd say, sure, okay, to something like that? You've never really cared for him and I getting married, so why should I divorce him now of all times? I'm used to you being a total witch now, so you telling me to divorce him isn't going to change anything. Then that means my prior thoughts as to why you were married to him were correct. You only want him as your husband so that you can use him, right? Now you're just trying to make me look bad. It's because of a woman like me that Philip is able to have the wonderful life that he has now. So please, don't feel as though it's just me getting anything out of this marriage. I'm sure he's happy right now about being married to you. But I know the secrets you have, and I know that you are not the kind of person he thinks you are, and that is making him happy. Why don't you just shut up and leave us youngsters be? Are you calling me old? I already went and made sure Philip blocked your phone number so that you can no longer talk to him. Thank goodness you didn't say anything to him in the last conversation, or else blocking you would have made no difference. And due to the way you handled that discussion with him, he was more than happy to block you. I'm sure things were getting pretty heated then, right? That was a close one. Now, all I have left to do is make sure you never come around us again. You're really going to do that? If you have a problem with what I plan on doing, then how about you and I meet in person and talk about it face to face? I'll make sure in person to show you who the boss is and why you should never get involved in someone else's marriage. Are you trying to threaten me now? Well, whatever, I get what you're saying. If that's the kind of way you want to settle things, then sure, let's meet in person and chat about this.
Yo! What the hell, Lori? Was there really any reason for you to take things this far? I was thinking that today could finally be the day for the three of us to all make up with one another. But now you've shown me what kind of person you really are.
What? Philip? What are you talking about? It's been such a long time since you and I have last talked to one another, right? Didn't you block me a while back?
So you've done this to me because of that? There has to be a limit to your childishness. I can't believe you're even my sister.
What? Wait, seriously? What are you talking about right now? What ended up happening?
Stop playing dumb. We just came to the wedding and there wasn't a seat reserved for Joy or me here. I'm your only brother, your only sibling, and this is how you're going to embarrass me now? You're no longer my sister.
What? Seriously, Philip, what are you talking about? You guys were the ones that replied by saying you couldn't come, right?
What? What do you mean? Wait, are you actually being honest right now about that?
Yes, of course I'm being honest about something like that. That's why you both don't have any seats reserved for you here. I was trying to call and text you even to see why you guys responded by saying you weren't coming, but because you had blocked me, I couldn't get anything from you. So I just assumed you both were being serious and made sure not to make you guys guests here.
I have no idea what you're talking about. Does this mean that Joy actually... She told me she replied back to the RSVP on the invitation you sent us.
Well, that's what I kind of assumed would happen. You and her came together to my wedding today, right?
No, actually. Today, Joy ran back to her parents' house because one of them came down with something, so she wanted to be with them. So she couldn't come with me.
Did she make it sound like she had plans of coming to my wedding today?
I was kind of feeling the same way as you. I wondered why she wanted to come to your wedding, but ended up going back to her parents' house because one of them became sick. She's never done that for one of them before. As she was leaving the house, she did say one thing, though, under her breath. Something about how she'd never go to the wedding of someone who bullies her.
I see now.
She told me not to go to your wedding before she stepped out the door. I can kind of understand what she was getting at there, since we did have that whole conflict before with one another. But you're my older sister after all, and I didn't want to miss your wedding of all things. You were there for our wedding, even though you didn't like the idea of me marrying her. So I thought I should go. I knew that staying home would be bad, so I came all the way out here.
So this means that Joy still thinks that you stayed home today and she vanished off to somewhere that might not even be her parents' house?
But she told me she went to her parents' house, so that's where she has to be. Stop trying to make it sound like she'd be going out to have an affair or something right now. You're only making yourself look even more like a bully.
Let me just ask, but what happened 2 weeks ago on Saturday? She ran off to somewhere, didn't she?
What are you asking me now? Saturday, 2 weeks ago? Well, at that time, she told me she had something to do over at her parents' house, so she went back there to meet one of her nephews or something. Why are you asking me about that?
Is that so? Then what about the week before that?
Huh? I don't even remember what happened that week. But I guess she did go back to her parents' place that week as well. She told me she had to go and help her parents with something, I think. Why are you asking me about all those things?
If that's what she's been telling you, then please take a look at these documents I'm about to email you. I wasn't planning to send you any of that just yet, but... Well, you were the one that started talking to me again, so now's my only chance to show you the truth.
What? You're sending me an email right now? I don't think you and I have ever emailed one another before. I just got something from you.
So, I made sure to include attachments to pictures that are evidence to what I know. I'll leave all of that for you to use in whatever way you'd like, Philip.
What the hell is all of this? These all have to be of someone else, right? This one says it was taken 2 weeks ago on that Saturday. Who is Joy with? Why is she holding hands with one of my friends?
I can understand you not even wanting to believe the pictures that I've sent you, but I couldn't just let you go off with her and let her ruin your life. So I hired someone to follow her, and this is what they came up with. That's why you have all those photos and documents to use as evidence of her unfaithfulness to you.
You hired someone to follow her? Why would you do something like that, Lori? I'm sure these are all just photoshopped or something, aren't they? Why would you spend money to do something like this to Joy?
If you're really that worried about those pictures being photoshopped, then send them to someone to be verified.
But why? Was there something suspicious that she was doing? Or could this have been because of how much you hate her?
I do not have the time to go and do all of that for you, even if you're my brother. The reason I hired someone to get the evidence you needed is because back in the day, I ran into her a lot at a few different resorts. And every time I saw her, she was with that friend of yours, holding his hand or cuddling with him in the lobby.
What? You were running into her at hotels?
That was all happening months ago. But every time I was going out, it was with my friends who wanted to stay during those nights where the resorts have insanely good deals. And it seems your wife and friend had the same idea. That's why I was always running into her with your friends there. The first time I saw her was when they were on a couch in the lobby making out, and I wondered how any self-respecting person could do that in a hotel lobby. But when I walked around to get a better look at who was doing it, it was your wife. She really chose the perfect spot to have a fun time with your friend.
What? So things like that were what started this? What did Joy say to you the first time you saw them together?
She started to laugh it all off by saying hi to me and explaining to him that I was a friend of hers. But later on, she confronted me again and threatened me to never ever tell you. She was the kind of girl that would slam her hands into the wall as a show of force. I never thought something like that would be happening.
What? She did that in order to threaten you?
I was in disbelief, and I'm sure you're feeling the same now because you always thought she was this soft and sweet little girl, right? Her looks and her true character are two completely different things, right?
I don't want to believe you.
Well, I'm sure you don't. But here's the thing. It is far too early to be surprised about anything.
What?
There was another time a while back where she threatened me. She started to go on about how she wanted to see me in person so that she could teach me who was boss. I was wondering what she had to say to me when I went out to see her, and there she told me that if I were to ever tell you what I saw, she would crush me and let me bleed out. Luckily, I had my audio recorder on me, and it was set to record when that conversation happened. I'll send you that audio recording right now, by the way.
She said she was going to crush you and then let you bleed out? But you're her husband's family member.
Well, she wasn't bluffing because not too long after that, she found me coming up some stairs and pushed me with all her body weight down them. I had to be in physical therapy for a month after that, after getting out of the ER.
Huh? That has to be a lie, right?
But what if it's not? Thankfully, that day, the person I hired to follow her was behind us. And so they were able to get photos and video of what she did to me. Which means I now have clear evidence of her pushing me down those stairs and almost killing me. I plan to tell the police about this once my wedding is over with, so that I no longer have to worry about her ruining my special day.
Are you sure? So this means she's really been a monster hiding in human skin?
Well, it's not too late to call her that. But now that you're aware of everything, it is up to you what you decide to do with that evidence. Although I recommend you get away from her now before I have to let the police loose on her.
No way. So you've known this was happening all along and chose to stay quiet?
Well, I was also threatened into staying quiet and later pushed down a flight of stairs. I was also worried that after telling you, you would never be able to get over what you found out. That's why I originally wanted to see you in person to talk about it to your face. I thought that by at least telling you in person, you would have someone to comfort you right away. That's why I tried so hard to get you to come out and listen to me.
So that's what you were trying so hard for.
You've always been the type of person where once you've fallen in love with someone, you become blind to everything else. And I knew just how much you loved her. That's why I wanted to be with you face to face before telling you the whole truth. But you never did give me the chance that I asked for.
So you've been thinking about me all this time. I'm sorry. I said so many horrible things. I'm going to divorce that bitch now.
And as your sister, I 100% agree with that choice. Now, as for this wedding, I'll go ask one of the staff to get you a seat and everything. But beware that after this wedding, I'm going to the police with all the evidence I have and will take Joy down. So please, once this wedding is over, divorce her and we can both send that beast back to hell together. After I had told and shown him everything he needed to know about the true person Joy was, Philip took a moment to cool his head and then came to me asking for forgiveness while apologizing. But when it comes to Joy herself, things ended up a lot different. After having both the police show up at her place to arrest her and having my brother divorce her, she started to text me crying for forgiveness, but that's never going to happen. Once she's taken to court and has to hear from me there, I'll make sure to wring her dry of all the money she has to pay for both my medical bills and the pain she caused me. And after that, while she's spending time in jail for attempted murder, I'll make sure to never see her again. I know that things sure didn't turn out the way she expected because the only one that ended up with no Joy at all was Joy herself and nobody else. Of course, I had to go through a month of physical therapy and have surgery done on one of my legs, but this outcome was exactly what I had hoped for. And my brother, who I really expected to be destroyed by all of this, wasn't too upset either, because not only did the evidence show that she had no feelings for him, but he came out of the divorce $30,000 richer. Thank you for watching and listening. We hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe. Also, feel free to leave a comment about what you thought of the story. We look forward to seeing you at the next story.
How's your father doing right now?
He and the doctor had another discussion about it. But the doctor reinstated that, well, there isn't much time left for my dad.
In other words, he was only given a little while longer to live? Well, that's great news.
What?
That means we'll be getting more money, right? Isn't that just the best news you've heard all year?
Wait. What the actual heck are you saying right now, Xander?
I just told you. The fact that your father was just told he only has a little bit longer to live means we are that much closer to getting his life insurance. When he passes away, we should get close to $1 million, right? I already went and started work on a new house, so as long as he kicks the can soon, we'll be set. I am oh so looking forward to when that time comes.
Who are you?
What? I'm your husband, Xander. Why are you acting so dumb right now?
I'm just wondering because my husband Xander has never said anything so heartless like that before. You're joking, right? Why would you say something like that?
I have been thinking about all of this for a very long time, but I never wanted to say anything to anyone about the money. However, soon your father's gonna be passing away, so I don't have to hold back my true thoughts and desires anymore. And the fact that you never had a mother around when I married you makes all of this so much easier. I'm so glad I was able to hold back my feelings this long.
You're a dick, Xander.
Hey, shut up! It's your fault for never noticing the fact that I was into you more for your father's money than anything else, idiot! Did you really think there was anything else about you that drew me in besides your family's money? When it comes to all women, all you're good for is helping us men move up in the world. And that's why I'm using you as my stepladder.
Is that the way you've thought about me this whole time?
Should I say what I really think? Would you go and spill all of this to your father right after? Well, if you go telling him anything that I've said and will say, the shock will only make what time he has left shorter. Man, the fact that he has to die before he ever even got to see any grandchildren is really so heartbreaking. You've been such a freaking idiot that you never had a chance of realizing my true intentions. Now, for dinner tonight, I'm gonna be having some steak to celebrate.
I'm sorry, Emily, but I can't answer my phone right now. I'm actually getting ready to head out to see Dad at the hospital and be with him for a bit. You should take a day or two off to relax a bit, please.
Sure. Thank you for doing that.
Emily, have you been feeling okay recently? I'm sure the stress of hearing that news from the doctor is really getting to you. But has anything else happened?
It's nothing important to you right now.
Don't lie like that to me. Anything that's important to you is important to me too when it causes you to be upset. Isn't that right?
I suppose so. And considering I'm talking with you, you'll find out what's been going on with me eventually.
Of course I will. I'm your little brother after all. And that's why you should stop hiding what's been going on and tell me now.
Well, here's the thing. When my husband learned about the fact that Dad only has a little while left to live, he started to cheer about it. He told me that once Dad dies, we'll be getting his life insurance money and everything else.
I see. That's pretty messed up of him, to say the least.
Are you not surprised by all of that?
I sure am, but I know that you'd never be lying to me about him. And when it comes to your heart, there's no room in it for forgiving Xander anymore, right?
Yes, well, of course.
Do you want to divorce him?
If I could, I'd love to divorce him and cut him out of my life forever.
Then I'm going to start supporting you through that process to make sure you can get him off your back for good. You were the one that picked me up when I was down on my luck, and I want to repay the favor for that now. I want to show you how thankful I really am for you coming and saving me from that life of being completely on my own. And the fact that someone would be willing to make horrible comments about my dad like that, I will not allow him to walk away with a win.
Thank you so much, Ricky. You're making me feel a lot more confident now.
I'm happy to hear that. I'm your little brother after all, and I want to make sure you're okay.
Hey, Emily, where are you at right now? You didn't even stay home last night to make me those steaks I asked for. Instead, you ran off to spend the night somewhere else. Huh, were you in shock after finding out about the true me?
I spent the night at my little brother's house last night.
You're far too old now to be spending the night at a college student's place. Honestly, I feel so bad for him having to house you.
I no longer want to be with someone like you, Xander.
What? Honestly, I don't care what you do or when you do it. But just remember that you're carrying my child, and when you give birth to it, you'll have to come back to me. They'll be asking where their father is and things like that.
I'll just tell them that their dad was scum and not worth having a child of their own.
You'll say that about me? Yeah, I'm sure that a woman like you who grew up in a house with no mother would never understand this. But when it comes to children, they're best off having both of their parents around, right? And considering that you are barely making any money as a simple office lady, and that you'll no longer have your father around, your only option is to come back to the breadwinner, me.
I don't actually think I'll have to go back to you.
Stop trying to act all tough now, Emily. When your father kicks the can, his money will all be mine. How about you tell me what allergies he has so that we can get this show on the road?
Shut your damn mouth!
What's got you all riled up?
I'm not sure if all you're saying is because of a misunderstanding on your part, but I never said anything about my dad expecting to totally pass away here soon.
What?
What my dad was told is that the cancer is in his blood now and can cause a lot of problems that will kill him in months if not treated. But last night, the doctor started him on some new therapy that will target his bone marrow and try to kill wherever that cancer is. Of course, there's not 100% this will cure him completely, but it should help him gain a few more years. And as far as I'm aware, my dad's little brother will be donating some of his bone marrow to my dad.
What? In other words?
The doctor thinks that my dad still has a decent chance, and that is why they're putting him through this therapy and treatment plan. Of course, after the cancer's been taken out of his blood, he'll still have to undergo constant monitoring. But at least he'll have plenty of years to stick around with us. In other words, that means you spilled the beans too early.
Huh? What the hell, man? Why didn't you tell me about all of that sooner? I was getting so worked up about what came next. Things are all screwed up now. This is all because of you and your crappy communication skills. As a way of saying sorry for ruining my mood, you're coming back here to make me up some steaks.
Why should I do that? You already know how much I frickin' hate your guts now.
As my wife, what did you just say to me?
What? So that's how you've thought about things this whole time? I was wondering why the only excuse you ever had for not ever doing the chores, cooking your food, or doing the laundry was because I'm your wife. We're getting a divorce now, Xander.
Are you kidding me? Who the hell do you think will allow you to get a divorce from me?
I'll be the one to take care of and raise this kid I'm carrying. I really don't want a monster like you anywhere near my baby once they're born. Also, you were just going on about how my dad's money would all become yours. What did all of that mean? You may be my husband, but you don't have any automatic rights to my family's money.
When the wife gets that money from her father, that money then becomes her husband's. That's why I will let you do anything besides get a divorce.
So you really did only marry me for my family's money. I'm happy to hear about that plan of yours now before it became too late.
Of course money's all I've wanted you for. If it wasn't for your family's money, I would never have married such a plain woman like you. That's why I've made sure I had other women lined up for the moment I got your father's money.
I've already told all of my family about you and your damn intentions. Both my dad and my brother are saying it's totally okay for me to cut ties to you. I'll make sure to take this divorce to court if I have to make sure I get away from you. So you can stop acting like you're my husband still and start acting like a stranger. That new house you got is under your name, right? That means after this divorce, you'll have to figure out what to do with that house all by yourself.
Huh? Who said you could just run your mouth like that around me? Did you really think that I'd just accept everything you just said? Get your ass home! And I mean get your ass home right now! I'm not gonna go easy on you tonight, you back-talking whore! Hey, say something! Emily!
Hello again, Xander. Have you been doing all right over there on your own?
Who's this now? Are you her little brother, Ricky? Tell me where Emily is right now. I want you to tell her to cut all of that childish crap and come back home right now.
Why should she have to come back home to you? She's going to be divorcing you here soon, right?
And whoever said that I was going to accept a divorce from her? And when it comes to something like that, the first thing we should be doing is meeting face to face to talk about it, right?
No. Someone who starts to celebrate the death of our father? I don't think any one of us coming out to speak to you is going to get anywhere.
That's just what an immature loser like you thinks. You go and tell that whore to get back home right now. I'm sure she's staying there at your place right now, right?
Huh? I would hate to tell you where she is right now because who knows what a psycho like you would do. So I'm gonna refrain from answering. I would not like to piss her off any. She's a very aggressive person when she gets upset, so I'll do as she's told me and leave this all be. Ah, but you've known about how aggressive she can be for a long time now, much like I've known about you.
Huh? What do you mean by that?
I happen to really love my older sister. As family, of course. A long time ago, I lost both of my parents in a really bad car accident, and after that I had nobody and had to go into foster care. But my dad had a really close friend who just so happens to be Emily's dad. And when he came to see how I was doing, Emily said she wanted me to become her brother. That's when he said it was a good idea, and the both of them took me into their home. That all happened close to a decade ago now. That was the first time I fell in love with people who weren't my family.
What? What the heck? Then tell me why you were so happy about her and I getting married a while back and weren't all jealous about it.
Well, that's because I said to you I love her like family, like my older sister. Not as some woman that I wanted to get married to or anything. And that's how I want her to stay, is as my older sister. Hence why I was so happy when she wanted to marry you, and you guys did so. Really, I've never loved her as anyone else but my sister. Now, I'd still be happy about that marriage, had you turned out to actually have been a good person.
That's freaking disgusting! I think you have a few things wrong with your head, you freak!
I don't think so, considering who's saying that right now. And unlike you, I happen to know a lot more about you than you think. Do you really know much about me?
What are you getting at here, Ricky?
You happen to work for a very large company as a businessman. You also happen to have to work late every night, which causes you to come home after 7 or so. And during the weekend, you love to go into work to finish up assignments or go on business trips. You happen to be well respected by all of your higher-ups, and all of your co-workers like having you with them. At least, that's what you want everyone to know. However, I know the other side to that coin.
Huh?
During the weekends, you don't actually go on business trips or into work. And during the week, you don't have to stay late working overtime. Instead, during all that time, you're going out to play with another woman.
Huh? What makes you think you can say all of that about me with such confidence? I'll have you taken to court for trying to ruin my image.
Are you kidding me? You can't take me to court that easily. And if you did, I'd be in trouble. However, I happen to have all sorts of photos as proof, as well as audio recordings and witness reports, so looks like a woman you recently met through an online dating website has become pregnant. Does that make you a jackass or something like that?
Why do you know about that?
All I had to do was ask around about you. And when I found the woman you've been with behind my sister's back, it all started to really come out. Of course, I didn't threaten her or anything like that to get the answers I needed, so you can relax, please. All I had to do was have a seat with her and chat for a bit. And then, soon, all of the evidence I needed spilled out.
I don't care about her right now. Have you been following me this whole time or something?
What? Are you trying to frame me like I'm some kind of a stalker now? All of this ended up happening by coincidence. Just coincidence. I was actually told about some of this from Emily herself before I started to just casually ask around. She told me about how you have always been coming home late from work and that she was worried you were overworking yourself there. I went out to have a word with you myself to see if you were doing all right. And well, I ended up seeing a few things that I probably shouldn't have, right? Later on, I went and had a word with the woman I saw you with after finding her, and she spilled the beans. That's all, Xander.
You think I'm gonna just take that as being coincidental? I have no reason to believe what you've just told me. I'm sure you've been stalking me this whole freaking time. And then you waited for a time like now to come out and screw me over while my wife is trying to divorce me. I know what you've been up to.
Huh? Would you be able to prove something like that in court? Because based off the way you said that, all after I brought up some facts, you seem to be cornered. Oh man, I don't have the kind of time to be dealing with all your crap.
You're really asking for it.
There are some other things besides this, Xander.
Huh? The fact that you just keep making crap up about me is gonna get you killed.
Xander, did you know that in this state, gambling like you've been doing is illegal?
What?
I heard that you've always been well respected by your coworkers, but it seems that some of them go out with you during the night and gamble over something rather illegal. I hear that some of you will even gamble $10,000 in one go sometimes, which is pretty dang wild if you ask me.
Now you're really trying to make things up about me.
No, I'm not, because I have all the evidence right here.
What?
Did you know that recently I've been interning at your company and have seen you a few times in the office? I'm in another department from you, so of course you'd never really notice me, but I've been well aware of you. I'm sure you're just used to working in such a large company that plenty of people come and go all the time. But when I went out and had a few drinks with some of the employees there, they told me all kinds of very interesting things. Things that would normally embarrass people when saying them, but for some reason all of them acted like they just didn't care that I heard them. And all it took was a small act of kindness to get the rest of the info I wanted to hear out of them.
Excuse me? Don't tell me that you bribed them.
Are you being serious right now? Of course I never bribed them. I just gave them a couple extra drinks on the house. And that money was money I made interning for the company, so don't think that I'm getting it the same way you do. Actually, a lot of those drinks were expensive, so I had to pull savings from my old job to afford them, but it was worth it in the end. Anywho, now that I have all this damning evidence of you gambling over things like that, I've been thinking of bringing it up with the head of HR.
You're joking, right?
Not at all, Xander. Isn't this just great? You'll finally have a reason to get out of that lousy department you've always been complaining about. And this will only strengthen my sister so that she can get this divorce and free herself from trash like you once and for all.
What the hell? Who the hell are you, Ricky? Why the hell were you able to pull all of that off so easily?
What? You don't know why? I happen to really love my sister and will do anything to make sure that she ends up happy.
Emily, help me! I don't think I'll be able to handle being on my own anymore.
I'm pretty sure that I've already told you I no longer want anything to do with you. I can't believe you've not only been cheating on me that whole time, but we're also gambling over chicken fights.
You already know about that?
Ricky told me everything about what you've been up to. I guess the place he's been interning at has been the same company you're working for. He told me that the news about you and some of your coworkers is so well known that it wasn't hard to find out about what you'd done.
So that asshole is going to use everything he found out about me to keep this fight going? Hey, Emily, that dick is just trying to make me look bad. If he'd never gone and lied to everyone about me, I would still be the well-respected man I've always been in that company. It's because of him that everyone in the company no longer wants me there, and my life is fallen into shambles.
You're blaming Ricky for that? I'm not too sure how he could be the one to blame for that. Well, whoever is to blame, the one thing we can all agree with is that the things he found out about you are true, right? Then that means you're the one at fault.
That's...
I'm embarrassed to have been lied to by such a pathetic man as you. Know that this divorce is never going to go away and that I will be getting a settlement from you now. By the way, Xander, I hear that you may have borrowed some money from my uncle, and he's asked you to pay it back to him right now.
Huh? Why do I have to?
Why do you have to pay money you borrowed from him back? Because you borrowed it. And that money you borrowed went to gambling on chicken fighting, right? I'm sure you won't be able to pay it all back to him, but just be aware that one of your company's biggest customers happens to be my aunt's company. And she said that as long as your company has an employee like you within it, she will no longer be working with them. Today she'll be contacting the company and telling her things are off, I assume.
What? What? Your aunt's the owner of that company? I never knew anything about that.
I'm sure you would have never noticed, but she's my mom's sister and has a different last name from us. And she's been the one in charge of that very important factory that purchases great deals of whatever your company manufactures. She happens to be very well known within that sort of world, so once you've been forced to leave your current job, good luck finding another in that field.
If she does anything to me, then I'll be screwed. How much more do you all plan on hurting me?
I'm not sure. You went and hid things from me for years while treating me like a jerk, so... Oh, and that doesn't even include all the crap you've put me through while I've been pregnant.
I feel really bad about what you're having to go through right now while carrying our kid. I'm sorry. Honestly, I'm sorry for everything. I've just been so busy with work and became a bit stressed after marrying you, so you could call this marriage-related stress.
That's something that happens before getting married, right?
That's right. I just realized that once you have that baby, I'm going to become a father. And that means you'll have to become a mother to that baby, right? You've already been aware of that this whole time since you've been pregnant, but for men it's a bit hard to understand that just yet since we don't have to do anything. You women would never understand this, but men can be very confused when it comes to what to do when their wife is pregnant.
You really think I'm going to agree with such a lame excuse? Are you trying to say that while the wife is pregnant, it's totally okay for the husband to do whatever he wants? You're telling me it's completely okay for them to cheat, for them to commit crimes? You sound like an idiot saying that. If you're really having to go to those lengths to look for an excuse, you're better off rotting in jail. I can't wait for you to lose that job.
What? You don't know if I'm going to be fired yet or not?
Actually, I do. I heard about it from Ricky.
All of this always ties back into that damn Ricky! Ricky said this, Ricky found that. Ricky! Shut the hell up! All of this is because of you! Because of what you've done, I've been left in a terrible position.
So now you're resorting to making this my fault? I have no idea what to say anymore.
If you just told me everything that doctor said about your father, then I would have never misunderstood you. And had you never gone and talked with that little bitch of a brother you have, you would have never had to find out about me cheating on you and my gambling. All of this is happening because of you, Emily. Your little brother is a real freak. He went and stalked me for weeks like a crazy person. That just pisses me the hell off.
Don't you dare talk about my brother like that, you disgusting freaking bastard!
Huh?
Ricky has done nothing but think about me. He is the nicest little brother a sister could ask for. I guess he does have a thing or two that is off about him, but no matter what it is, he just wants to care about his family, and that's something I am proud of. You have no damn right talking about him that way. You're just a frickin' pussy hiding behind that phone. Don't you ever talk to my family, my friends, or I ever again. And when it comes to this kid that I'll be giving birth to soon, you will never get to see them.
No way. Hold up. I've already been disowned by both of my parents and have nowhere to go.
Oh? You told me before that they're out living in the middle of nowhere, and that's why we could never see them. This is the first time I'm ever hearing about how they disowned you.
About that!
Seems all you ever say are lies. I'm glad I finally got to learn the truth before it was too late.
Hold on a second, please. Don't just abandon me like this.
You have no right saying that after all the things you've said about me. I love how childish some adults seem to think they can act.
I'm sorry. I really am sorry. So would you please just forgive me already?
No frickin' thanks. And do you think you could really be forgiven after everything you've done? I get that you're frickin' brain dead, but try using that thing between your legs to put some thought into it. I mean, it's made that choice of having you cheat on me before, right? So go ahead, use it to figure out how much of a bastard you really are. Now I'm out of here.
Emily, I just finished work. How have you been doing recently?
I just had another horrifying conversation with my husband, so I had to go ahead and block him. And right now I'm diving back into all the paperwork since I once again have had my hatred for that man refreshed by him. Like I said, I just had another horrifying conversation with him, so I had to go ahead and block him. I've made up some stew for you on the stove, so hurry home and have some.
Awesome. I freaking love your stew, Emily. I honestly wish I could have you stay in at my place forever.
But someday I'm sure me being here would cause you some trouble. However, don't think that I won't be coming here more often once I'm moved out.
You would never become a problem for me. I love having you here with me, and I always will. The only reason I ended up living on my own in the first place is because when you got married, I moved out to go to school. But to be frank, it's been super lonely for me. So how about, until you've completely settled down, you stay here with me? I get that this place is small, but...
Ricky, seriously, thank you so much. By the way, Ricky, I really didn't know about how you'd been interning at the same company Xander's been working for. I thought you would have told me sooner.
I never realized either until I one day saw him walking around in the break room. It was a total coincidence, and he didn't even recognize me.
This whole thing called life is really full of surprises at every corner, isn't it?
The divorce between Xander and I ended up happening not too long after I blocked him. And I was able to get both that settlement from him and child support. He was later fired from the company based on the gambling he'd been doing on chicken fighting, and that soon landed him in jail considering it was against the law. After about a month there, he was able to be released on parole, but now had to face the house he had signed for but could not afford. I'm sure he'll go out and find himself a new job, but that's only if he can find one before he loses his house and has to be kicked out onto the streets. As for myself, things have really calmed down in my life. I've been living with Ricky at his place, but I'm not going to rely on a college student for housing. So I'm in the process of moving out of his place and in with my aunt at her house, where I can then prepare to have my first ever baby. Ricky will be coming over to see me every week and make sure I'm doing okay, and we'll be visiting even more when I have the baby. I'm so happy that my family is willing to keep a good eye on me after all I've been through, and are willing to do all of this to help me. But I really just hope that Ricky doesn't stay attached like this to me forever and goes out to find a woman and a life of his own after college is done. Perhaps he already has a life that I'm not aware of yet besides being around me, and will show me when the time is right. He really is the best little brother a sister could ask for. Thank you for watching and listening. We hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe. Also, feel free to leave a comment about what you thought of the story. We look forward to seeing you at the next story.
Are you seriously in your 30s, Mia? LOL. Like, what the heck's up with that, LOL? What do you mean, what's up with me? Good evening, Lila. Why have you started bringing this up all of a sudden? I want to talk about your age, LOL. Do you even know how old I am? I'm 23 years old. I'm still very young and attractive, LOL. I am literally asked all the time by bartenders for my ID because I look so young. I know that. But in your case, it's hard to tell whether you're really in your 40s or maybe 50s, LOL. No wonder you're still single, though, LOL. I'm sure it's difficult for any man to ask you out when they can't tell if you've still got a lot of time left on this planet. Hold on, Layla. I've heard that you're younger than my little brother and that you're very young. But I don't get why you're getting all worked up over me being in my 30s. You're treating it as though I should just give up already and enter a retirement home or something. You're not far off from having to go to one. And you being that old, well, doesn't that pretty much make you an old woman then? In your 30s, LOL. Huh? You really think that I'm an old woman? So then that must mean that in another 7 years, you too will become an old woman like me? Well, in my case, I'm never going to think about my life in 7 years, LOL. And with how soft and vibrant my skin is, nobody has to know when I turn 30, LOL. And that's why I'm calling you an old woman right now. Your back must already be hurting, and I'm sure that brown hair of yours is all dyes, right? Layla, if you think about what you've been saying to me, don't you find it all a bit rude? I understand that compared to my brother, we both have 12 years apart, and that I really am much older than the both of you. But does that make it okay for you to make fun of me and my age and act as though you know better than me? You plan on becoming a part of our family as well, so doesn't that make your attitude very unacceptable? I have no idea what you're talking about. I have the kind of ears that don't like listening to those above the age of 30. I guess there are people with those kinds of amazing ears. Must be terrible for anyone you work with, though, correct? And that's why I plan to quit my job, LOL. I'm looking forward to a fun life of being your brother's housewife. I'll be able to spend every day drinking and relaxing. Well, if you think that Eric's okay with you living with him like that, then that's totally fine. But if you're trying to pick a fight with me, I can tell you right now that there's no good reason for that, and so I'd like you to stop. We are going to be meeting your family here soon, and you wouldn't want me bringing any of this up in front of them, would you? Nobody has their family go talk to the other family before the wedding anymore, you loser. That's like something people from last century did. That's not really something that's phased out of modern life, though. That idea is so old that it's turned into a rock now, lol. But I guess someone as old as you would love to be around rocks all day. Well, I don't want any old rocks sitting around me and Eric, and so we have no plans for any family meetups. I have a feeling that you misunderstood me a little too much there. Well, anyway, I just want you to know that you're not invited to our wedding. And as for meeting the rest of Eric's family, I have no plans to, so good day to you. Excuse me, Lila? I don't mind if you don't plan on meeting with Eric's family or letting this family meet yours, but I'm sure Eric doesn't agree with you, right? I think after you've calmed down a bit, you should try and rethink what you've said to me today, before you begin to regret it.
I overheard that Layla may have said some pretty rude things to you yesterday.
Yeah, she sure did.
I knew it! She said to me that she was a bit drunk and said some things she probably shouldn't have to you. She said she's sorry, and so am I. That's why I thought I should tell you right now about it.
Then why is she not apologizing to me? And you are. I'd really like to hear it from her that she's actually sorry about everything she said.
I'm sure she's embarrassed about what she said to you, and that's the reason she doesn't want to approach you directly. And actually, this is pretty rare for you to stand up for yourself this much. Was it really that rude? What did she say to you?
That's not what I'm talking about, but if she plans to not apologize to me directly, maybe she's just asking you to apologize in her place so she doesn't feel she has to. And actually, I really am hurt by a few things she said to me, so I'd like to talk that all over with her. Maybe I'm just thinking about this too much. But do you really want to marry someone like her?
Why are you asking me something like that now?
I've just been wondering what about her has made you want to marry her. Hopefully, she's never this way with you.
Normally she's not that bad of a person, but recently, I've noticed her drinking a lot more often, and it's getting a bit annoying. However, I think she'll get over this little phase pretty soon. We have our wedding coming up soon, and she's probably just nervous for all of it.
I'm surprised you're this relaxed and understanding of her. Well, just make sure you don't let her put you on a leash or anything, okay? If things start to get even worse with her, please let me know.
Put me on a leash? What does that mean?
Either way, just know that I'm hoping for you to live a happy life. Well, I hope you're looking forward to the wedding. I'll make sure to get there a little early in order to talk with you some more. What the heck? Mia, you are here far too early, lol. Seeing you here already freaked me out and I just happened to spill my wine all over you, lol. You were freaking out? Are you sure it wasn't just you walking into me on purpose and spilling all that wine all over me for fun? Well, you could be right about that. But I couldn't help it, right? I made sure that anyone that came here today were in their 20s and nobody else that was older was invited. LOL. And in your case, you're way over the age limit, so you should just go, right? Excuse me? I could say that you're just naturally this terrible of a person, but could you also just be drunk right now? Even if I was drunk, this would have nothing to do with it, right? LOL. I said the age limit is 29 years old, LOL. So get lost, Grams. I don't want you here anymore, LOL. This is the first time I'm hearing about this age limit that's in place. Are you being serious about that? Of course! I don't want some smelly old people, especially you, coming in here and ruining my wedding's vibes, LOL. Just that smell alone that you all give off is enough to make the flowers here wilt. But now that you've come without being invited, I'm going to have to cut ties with you, LOL. Then what happened to you having Eric apologize to me for your rude actions? Does this mean you really are drunk off your butt again? That has nothing to do with the elderly, LOL. You are part of the elderly, aren't you? After all, you're 12 years older than my fiancé, LOL. I never asked to have any grandmas or grandpas here today, so please go home. Then the whole family is going to head home. When it comes to this family, everyone in it is above the age of 30, and I made sure to show my parents all the messages you've sent. Hold up, what? I don't really get what you mean, so can you explain? You seem to have made an enemy of everyone in Eric's family. Oh, well, I guess. This is what you wanted, right? Well then, we're all heading home now. It'll be great to see if you really can pull the rest of this wedding off, LOL. Mia, hold on a second. I really don't get what you're talking about. Why would everyone else leave? I was just telling you to leave this place. Well, I'm in my 30s, like you said, but my parents are both in their 60s now. And you said that this wedding was only for those under the age of 30, right? So, you young folk can all go ahead and enjoy this wedding. Although I'm not really sure what this wedding is being held for anymore. If you'd planned to just have this wedding to have a party and all get messed up together, you should have chosen a different day and theme. That's not what all of this is about. Your parents and everyone else can stay. Well, it looks like you have to be under the age of 30 to be here, so we're all heading out. And also, my family is fed up with this, and we're all going to act as though this wedding never even happened in the first place. Huh? What? Hold on, Mia. All of the family that was here is going to be gone now. And in the case of all your family, they can't attend this wedding either, right? Honestly, you're better off just calling off this whole wedding right now. If you just wanted to have this party with all of your friends, you should have just said so from the very start. But you went out of your way to send us all the invite to this thing. We all gave up our time and energy to come here, all just to learn that we have to be under the age of 30. What a complete waste, Lila. You're wrong! That's not at all what I wanted everyone to do. Do you think you can all come back now? I'm sorry that you happened to misunderstand everything I said. No way that's happening now. Why not? Most of us elderly people can't even walk that much anymore, LOL. And you said that all of us stinky elderly aren't supposed to be at your wedding. So we've decided we can't walk back there now. So you go and have all the fun in the world with all your young friends. Wait! Eric's getting really pissed off now. Well, he has the right to. He has every right to be pissed off with you for what you've said, and you ruining the wedding for him has really stuck a knife in his back. Help me, Mia! I can't deal with all of this now. Having all this happen on my very special day is literally the worst thing that's happened. Please, Mia. Can't you do something about all of this? I know there's something you can do to fix everything for me. Come on now, Layla. LOL. Coming to me now trying to get me to help you with your wedding is far too late. Maybe you could try and stop acting like you've done nothing wrong. You literally thought that because you were younger than everyone else, you could boss us all around. And in my case, you chose to spill a bunch of red wine all over me. What the hell have you been thinking? Anyone with a hint of sanity to themselves would never try something like that. I'm sorry, Mia. I never meant to do that to you. I can see now that pouring that wine all down your dress was a bit too much. It wasn't only me that you ended up making very embarrassed, but also Eric. And so I'm happy to see that he's getting upset over all you've done today. But I never planned for any of this to happen to me. I didn't think that a simple party trick would spiral out of control this badly. I just thought it'd make for a funny memory later on by me picking on you. And I'm saying that kind of thinking is what makes you a terrible person. I know that. I'll tell you everything straightforward now. I was maybe a little too drunk today, and being as drunk as I was, I thought it'd be funny to pour that wine on you and then call you a grandma in front of everyone. I promise I'll make this all up to you, so can you please grab everyone and come back here right now? I just want to make sure we can finish this wedding with no more hiccups. No, thank you. Why the hell not? All of us elderly are going to go back home like adults. LOL. You ended up taking your life down an ugly path with that drinking of yours, LOL. But yet again, this is what you wanted, so I have nothing else to say to this. And in Eric's case, it seems he no longer wants to be around you either. He's going to your parents as we speak to apologize to them, all because of you. What should I do? This is all going to ruin me. If I'm not able to marry Eric, then life is going to end for me. Today is supposed to be the day we get married, right? And if only you would have held back from the bottle a little bit longer, you could have had your wedding and your man. But it's a little too late to think about what could have been done differently now. I assume that even after this, you're not going to change that hideous character of yours. Both my parents are pissed at me now. I have no idea what I'm supposed to do about all of this now. You really can't come and help me? I understand that my wedding isn't going to turn out the way I'd planned, but what did I do to deserve this? I've heard from Eric that he's been well aware of all the alcohol you've been drinking these days, and it seems that he could no longer hold himself back from letting you get away with it. My brother is a very reserved man, but he does not like watching people get treated poorly, and he especially doesn't like it when it's someone he loves that's treating another person horribly. And since him and I have been very close to one another ever since he was born, he can no longer forgive you for what you did to me and everyone else today. I don't think he'll ever think about marrying you again. Wait! If things keep going downhill like this, my parents are going to leave me behind as well. Why does my wedding have to be over all just because of one thing that I happen to say? I can see that even your parents are smart enough to cut ties to someone that thinks it's okay to get drunk and pick on the older sister of their fiancé. Thank goodness you seem to be the only stupid one around. Don't say such hurtful things to me! All I did was say one mindless thing and that's it! I never meant to hurt anyone, and I said I'm sorry! You didn't only say some stupid and hurtful things, but you carried them out as well. The dress I have on is very, very expensive. Of course, I'll be asking for you to pay me back at some point. Red wine such as the one you spilled on me is not easy to take out. So I wonder if I'll just have to get another one of these high-brand dresses again. Hold on, please! Haven't I already apologized to you enough for all of this? You'll have to pay for the wedding getting canceled as well, probably. I think that'll really put a dent in your savings for sure. I have to pay for this wedding getting canceled too? I told you I don't want this wedding getting canceled! Also, out of your spite for me, you caused a lot of problems for everyone that came today. My brother has no other choice but to have you pay for everything. I think you'd better just give up now and try again starting a new life where you're less of a pain in the butt for everyone. LOL. Now, I'm going to leave. Wait, please, Emmy. I'm apologizing for all of this. I'll even get down on my hands and knees to say I'm sorry to you. Please come back to the wedding now, okay? You and all the family. We can even let everyone get together after this so your family and mine can bond more. You told me before you didn't want to perform such old traditions, right? LOL. You should be happy that us elderly people will never have to talk with one another anymore now. Well, with that, this old woman is going to say goodbye. Being in your 30s isn't even close to being old. You could still come. I just happened to have a really bad misunderstanding. I'm really sorry. Why won't you answer me right now? Please, I really want you to listen to me apologizing to you. You don't have to apologize to me for that, LOL. We no longer have a relationship with one another. Too bad you can never become my sister-in-law, huh? But luckily, you got everything you wished for today. Now, you and all your young friends enjoy the rest of your time today. Well, I suppose your fun time is up, though, since the wedding is officially over, LOL. And just like that, the wedding was canceled, and their chances of getting married were no more. My brother Eric had had enough of Lila, and since then has not once talked to her. And as for her parents, they were both also finished with their daughter's bullcrap and kicked her out of their house forever. Layla then tried to rely on some friends to help her out and let her stay with them, but they all knew how horrible of a person she was and just laughed in her face. She then was left with nobody to help her and hopefully began to realize that she had no allies anymore. I'm sure this has all taken a definite mental toll on her, and I wonder if she'll ever recover from her mistakes.